Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be my update to the deck of panning project. So that was a project created by Emily from Emily and Max. I will have all of her information listed down in the description box. But I'm going to be going over my progress on these products, and we are going to be maybe rolling in some new ones. So if that all sounds good to you, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around. But with all that, let's just get into it. All right, so like I said, this was a panning project created by Emily and Max. I'm going to have her channel listed down in the description box, as well as her intro video to this project and her explanation on how to play this project. I feel like this has been going on long enough. Most people know all the rules, and I don't want to go into a 10-minute explanation on it. So check those videos out if you haven't heard of this project yet. But normally you have 5 products that you work on at any given time. So I have 5 products to update you all on today, and I'm really happy with my progress. Now, before we go into the progress, let's just talk about this background here. If you've been subscribed for a while, you know my life is hectic, my life is chaotic. I move around quite often, and that's kind of just what's going on right now. I cannot promise where I will be in the next video, but I'm just trying my best to keep my schedule going. I do post Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, so I'm just making do with what I can, but you can probably expect the background to be changing quite frequently in the next month or two, and I'm sorry about that, but you know, the show must go on. So now that I've said that, let's now go into the progress of all of my products here. So the first card that I pulled last month was the 2 of Hearts, which was for the prompt Splurge. And I decided to go and pull my Hourglass palette, one of their holiday palettes. This is the elephant one. It's the last one I purchased. And I really wanted to pull this in because Hourglass had just announced their new holiday palettes, and I made a vow to myself, I'm not going to purchase anymore. I will say the deer one is so beautiful, but I cannot purchase a $95 palette just for the packaging alone. So I'm trying really hard to resist. So that's why I decided to maybe give some love to the other Hourglass palettes that I have. And my goal for this was to use it no pan left behind, but twice. So use each one of these shades 2 times, which I'm happy to say that I did. It was pretty easy, to be honest. This has 2 finishing powders, a highlight, a bronzer, and then 2 blushes. I am actually wearing this palette today. Everything that I'm wearing is always listed down in the description box below, but I'm happy that I got some usage out of this. It did kind of take away the want of purchasing that other palette. I feel good missing out on it so far. I mean, it's going to be out for a little bit of time, so I don't want to promise I'm not going to purchase it, but I do feel pretty good with my decision to use the things I have and not purchase that deer one. But I really, really want it. It's really beautiful. The next card that I pulled was for the 5 of Clubs, which was for the prompt primer. And I decided to pull in 2 little mini samples. They're both the same ones, but I had 2 of them. It's the Becca Skin Love Brighten and Blur Primer. These are quite old in my collection, and I really just wanted to get them out. So my goal was to actually finish both of these, and I've used them so far 12 times, the 12th including today. I did finish one, so I finished this one in about 10 times, although I will say it wasn't unopened. I had a little bit of use on it, and now I'm on the second one. I've used this one twice. So I don't know how many more uses I have in this left, maybe around 10, but I'm pretty confident that by the next update, I'll have this rolled out and finally have both of these little mini primers out of my collection, which will feel really nice. But for now, this is rolling over into the next month. Then the last 3 prompts were all palettes. I do like to pull palettes into this project quite often. It's just an easy way for me to kind of rotate through my palette collection a little bit more. So the next prompt that I pulled was for brand you own the most, and that was the 9 of clubs at the time. So I'm pretty confident that the brand I own the most of is Natasha Denona. I decided to pull in the Roxa palette, and my goal was to use it no pan left behind. I did accomplish that, I think in like 4 looks, maybe 4 looks. That sounds about right. I do a no pan left behind series on my channel. So I know that I talked about this in the beginning of September. I will link that video up above so you can check out my looks with this palette where I talk about it a little bit more in depth. Same with the other palettes we're going to talk about in a minute. But I actually liked this palette a lot more than I thought. I love purples. It shouldn't have been a surprise, but for some reason I was kind of dragging my feet on using this palette. I had it unopened in my collection before today, or before rolling it in, and I quite liked it. This Bolt shade, I really was thinking wasn't going to be my type of shade. I don't love silvers, but this is purple enough where it doesn't, to me, I wouldn't categorize it as a silver. I would categorize it as a purple metallic. So really enjoyed this, and I liked all of my looks with it. Very happy I finally pushed myself to use this. The next card was the King of Hearts, which was for the prompt no pan left behind. It kind of just worked out for me. So I decided to pull in another unopened palette in my collection, and it is the Unearthly Don't Be Jelly palette. So goal was to use this no pan left behind, which I did do. Very happy about that. And I didn't love the looks that I did with this palette, but I actually was surprised at how much I liked the shades in this palette. I think I just maybe was trying a little too hard to use it no pan left behind, and this palette, I just would use it a little bit different than how I used it for my looks. It's fine, makeup washes off, and it did get me to explore this palette a little bit, so I'm not upset with that I didn't like the looks, and now I kind of have an idea of how I would use this palette in the future. And I just was really surprised at how much I loved the colors in here, because I'm not really a super colorful eyeshadow wearer. I like neutrals with like some spiciness. I do fall into that category. I really have to push myself to use some color sometimes, and this just felt like it was teetering a little bit more on the colorful side, but I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised with this palette, and I'm very happy about it. I'm trying to use all of my Unearthly palettes right now so I can maybe rank them. I'm about halfway through all of them all, and I think this will actually be ranked higher than I initially thought. And then the very last palette that I have to talk about was for the prompt mainstream, which was for the Jack of Spades. And I decided to pull in one that maybe would get neglected and just sit in the corner of my palette collection, not get used because I was prioritizing other things. I pulled in the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette. Like I said, this one is a great, great palette, but sometimes I'm just reaching for other things, and it's one of those great palettes that just kind of gets lost in my collection. Here's what it looks like. So again, my goal was to use it no pan left behind. I did accomplish that. So this will be rolling out, and I loved this. I loved all the looks that I did with this palette. I still think that Icy Nude is my favorite Huda Beauty palette, but this is close second. This was #1 for a while before that palette came out, and it just reminded me how pretty this palette was. I had a lot of fun creating my looks with it. I'm happy I was able to use it no pan left behind, and just happy that it won't be sitting in the corner anymore. So this will be rolling out, and that means I will be rolling in 4 new prompts. We'll be pulling 4 cards today. The only one that's going to be rolling over is my little Becca primer. So this will be definitely a rollout for next month. I'm pretty confident about that. I do wear my makeup around 15 to 20 times-ish a month, so I think it'll take less than that to use this. But now we get into the fun part of rolling in the products. I have my deck of cards here, and the main thing with this game is that you have a joker, which stands for Are You Joking? And here's my joker here. I did end up putting just both of my jokers. Here's the other one, because I didn't feel like searching for them every time I pulled the cards. So just honestly, laziness came into deciding if I have one or two jokers. I like to tempt fate every once in a while. But while I shuffle, I'm going to throw up the game board so you can check that out. The face cards rotate every month, so Emily will change the prompts on the on the numbered cards, and then the face cards stay the same, so those don't change. But at least we get like a lot of different prompts. You could pull the same card twice or 2 times in a row or something, and it would be a different prompt, which is really fun and just adds a little bit more variety, I think, to this project. So I'm just going to shuffle a few more times. That was a terrible shuffle. I'm kind of on the floor here, so I'm just shuffling on my leg. It's not the best option here. I'll do one more time. I have not taken a look at the game board whatsoever. I kind of just take a screenshot, go from there, and then I look when I tell you at the same time. So I'm going to split the deck so you can see that I'm not cutting any footage, and we're really just gonna pull 4 from the top. So the first one is the Ace of Diamonds. I think that might be a draw too. I'll look in a second. Then we have the 3 of Clubs. Number 3 is the 8 of Diamonds. And the 4th one is the 4 of Spades. So let's take a look at what these stand for. It's the ace that Ace of Diamonds. Any red ace stands for draw 2. So let's just draw 2 really quickly. We have the Jack of Hearts and the 2 of Hearts. Okay, so we'll have six products in this project. That's okay. Let's start with the Jack of Hearts here. So that is going to be indie again. I like that. It's always a fun one for me. The 2 of Hearts is going to be Bomb, so Black-owned makeup brand. Okay, I can find something for that. Then the 3 of Clubs is going to be for bronzer. Love bronzer, one of my favorite categories after foundation. 8 of Diamonds is wild card. So I believe I can pull any product that I want. I'll have to double check that. And then the 4 of Clubs is for favorite category, which is foundation. So, okay, I have a lot of fun things I can pull here. Let me go find my products and then we'll talk about them. All right, so I have all of my products in front of me here. I did bring a lot of my makeup collection when I came traveling, so that way I was able to still film. It was a lot, and I probably overcompensated, but that's okay. I had a lot of options to choose from for this video. Anyways, the Jack of Hearts, that was for indie. Like I said, I'm trying to work through all of my Unearthly palettes. So I am going to pull in the Unearthly Gargoyle palette. This is newer to my collection. I bought it during one of their 40% off sales, and I have yet to use this palette. I really, really wanted it when it came out. I think it came out for like winter time last year. And I just recently got this. So I will be pulling this in, and my goal for this is going to be no pan left behind, as it is for my palettes always. And then the 2 of Hearts was for Bomb, so a Black-owned makeup brand. I decided to pull in my Pat McGrath highlighter. This is in Divine Rose. Here's what it looks like. It definitely gets neglected in my collection. My goal for this is going to just be 2 times since we rolled the 2 of Hearts. A very low goal, but at least it'll get a little bit of use. I do really enjoy this highlight, but these kind of like flippy duochromes, which it is a more subtle one. I don't know if the light's going to pick it up. I just don't reach for as often as maybe just a typical champagne. So this will be nice to just get some use on. The 3 of Clubs was for bronzer. Just pulled a favorite. This is the Milani Silky Matte Bronzer in 01 For the 3 of clubs, my goal is going to be to use this 3 times. And I'm just happy to have a bronzer and a highlighter. That'll really be helpful, even though my goal numbers are different. But this is a really, really nice bronzer. And then for 8 of diamonds, which was for wild card, it just made sense since I pulled a bronzer and a highlight to pull in a little blush. And I, again, just looked for a blush that goes neglected in my collection, but I really love. This gets neglected because it's just so teeny tiny. It's a Surratt blush in the shade Chaleur, which means hot in French, because it kind of just is a really warm nude. It's really, really pretty, but because it's so small, like I said, it kind of just gets lost. I can swatch this out. It's very understated in the swatch, but on the cheeks, it just looks beautiful. I remember I definitely was influenced to purchase this, pretty sure by Kathleen Lights a long, long time ago. And then since this was the 8 of diamonds, my goal will be to use this 8 times. And then the very last prompt was for the 4 of clubs, which was foundation. And I decided to pull in my Fenty Beauty Eavesdrops. This is the shade 6. And I really enjoy this foundation a lot, but foundation is an out of control category for me, and because it is my favorite category. And this one just doesn't get the love that it deserves. I remember when I purchased this last year, actually, around May, I used this for the entire month straight. I remember that because I went to go visit some family in Louisiana, and this was one of the only foundations I brought because I loved it so much. It's a really, really nice one. Highly recommend it. I haven't tried the Fenty stick yet. I would like to, but until I finish this one, I'm not going to allow myself to. So those are all of my prompts. I have 6 products that I'm working on now instead of the typical 5, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure, honestly, next month we might have a complete refresh. I'm really going to focus in on the Unearthly palette is going to be the hardest, but the rollover, the Becca primer, I've already said this will definitely be finished next time. The highlighter with 2 uses will be done. The bronzer with 3 uses for sure. The hardest one's going to be the blush with 8 uses, and then the foundation has 4 uses. So I think those will be really easy to just kind of knock out and have a complete refresh for next month, which will be super exciting. I do kind of like this project to be a roll in, roll out project. It's more of my fun, touch as many products as I can in my collection and just use them here and there to help me kind of just rotate through my large collection just a little bit. Anyways, this is all that I have for my update today. Let me know, of course, if you're also doing this project so I can follow along and just cheer you on. I think that motivation really, really helps with project panning. After that, though, this is where I'm going to leave you all. I hope you're having a great one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.